Most people who actually know what they're talking about will tell you that Madden hit its peak on the 6th generation of consoles. The leap from the PlayStation 1 era to the PlayStation 2 era was insane, and it seemed like every year EA was truly adding more and more features and depth to the game. And while Madden first started to decline in 2005 when they killed off 2K's fantastic and arguably better NFL series, that only applied to the next generation of consoles. Madden 06 was the best Madden yet on the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, while Madden 06 on the Xbox 360 was a complete disaster. While EA started stumbling with their next-gen releases, the 6th generation ended with a bang. In previous videos, I've referred to Madden 08 as the last great Madden, specifically the Xbox, PS2, and GameCube version of that game. And while it was a great game, and the last Madden title I would call great, it wasn't the greatest Madden of all time. That title belongs to Madden NFL 07, which released in 2006 for a lot of different consoles, from the Game Boy Advance to flip phones to the PSP to the Wii, but the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube versions of this game were incredible, and when I refer to Madden 07 in this video, I'm referring to those three versions. This game featured a franchise mode so deep it blows any Madden on the PS3, PS4, and even PS5 away. That's right, kids, this game from 2006 has a better and deeper franchise mode than Madden 22. That's why when people say the new Madden has the best franchise mode in years, you should understand that such a phrase means absolutely nothing. Madden 07 featured the greatest franchise mode in Madden's history. This game also had a superstar career mode deeper than any Madden since, and yes, much better than Face of the Franchise. You could actually play as any position, even offensive line or kicker. You got to actually play out your career the way you wanted to, with your own story, rather than being told how your career went with cringy cutscenes. Madden 07 didn't ignore gameplay either. The game added lead blocking controls, where a player could actually control a blocker at the start of a play to manually block for their running backs and open up holes themselves. The game also added the highlight stick, where players could use the right stick to juke, duck, spin, or step back, as well as variations of juking and spinning with other controls. This was also the last Madden game to feature the awesome Tony Bruno show in franchise mode. Let's just take a look at the back of the box compared to the back of Madden 22. Notice how it says, deepest franchise mode ever, and player-specific running moves, and everything else it says. This game literally has exactly what most NFL fans want to see advertised on a new Madden game. If you copy and pasted these selling points on a new Madden, people would be pretty hyped. Here's Madden 21 for comparison. They advertise a fresh season of content on Ultimate Team, Face of the Franchise, which is just a worse version of the old Superstar mode, and The Yard, which wasn't good. And that's it. Crazy how Madden 07 does a better job of advertising itself in 2021 than Madden 21 did. I didn't even buy Madden 22, so I'm not sure what the back of the box says, but who cares. Madden 07 is the ultimate version of Madden. It has everything you would ever want in a Madden title. I hope someday EA, or ideally another company since EA is terrible now, could create a game as good as Madden 07 was, but even then, would it be okay to simply match the quality and depth of a 15-year-old game? At this point in time, due to how bad Madden games have gotten, I think most of us would be excited to see a new Madden as good as this 15-year-old version. But even then, we should expect some innovation. Our standards for a new $70 next-gen exclusive Sim NFL game should be held much higher. A new Madden should not only have all the features we once had, but it should also have new innovations, and it should blow any previous Madden title away. I often see people online arguing that Madden 21 or 22 isn't really that bad because look how much it's improved since Madden 18 or so. While yes, the game has improved since then, games like Madden 07 still blow the latest title away, and that's the issue. But let's put Madden 22 aside for a bit and take a look back on this incredible game, the greatest Madden of all time. This was the quintessential NFL video game franchise mode. While going through the menus, you could listen to Tony Bruno give updates on what's happening around the league. Listen for yourself.
Michael Strahan, one of the game's best defensive ends, is in the final year of his contract. He says he's disappointed that they haven't been willing to work on his new deal yet, but he doesn't take it as a sign that they don't want him back. He said, and I quote, I know how things work. The business behind negotiations is a tough one. I know what I'm worth, they know what I'm worth, and it's going to come down to what they're willing to shell out and if I want to take it or not. He's never been shy about saying what he feels, has he?
The Tony Bruno Show was sort of like EA's version of 2K5's SportsCenter wrap-up, only in the form of a radio show. Today, a feature like this would work seamlessly with a podcast-type show. Get Rich Eisen on board and throw his show into franchise mode. This is what separates this game from Madden 08 for me. Madden 08 has a nearly identical franchise mode to 07, except for the lack of a Tony Bruno show and a lack of fully licensed team newspapers when reading team news. These aren't exactly huge features by any means, which is why I still think Madden 08 is a great Madden and the last great Madden, but this does give 07 an edge and makes it the Madden game I would recommend for anyone looking for the best possible Madden franchise mode experience. The rest of franchise mode is what you would expect from a PS2 Madden, but for those who may be unaware, I'll dive into it real quick. When relocating a team, you get to create a brand new team design, from the name to the exact city to the uniform template to the colors. You could design your own alternative uniforms too, end zone art, stadium design, everything from the north end zone's right corner to the lights at the top. You could import historic teams into franchise mode like the 1985 Bears. You could create your own plays, put them in a custom playbook and run them in franchise mode. After the draft, there was training camp where you performed drills to upgrade players. You had fully licensed coaching staffs. When scouting rookies, you could perform drills with them to unlock more in-depth scouting reports, going over things like potential and injury concerns, much deeper than Madden 22, even after they add the scouting update. You could even play the Senior Bowl. There was a lot of little things too, such as the ability to view Pro Bowl votes mid-season and watch them change each week, to restricted free agency, to contract holdouts, to signing a player mid-season from free agency to any contract length you wanted, to position battles in preseason, to getting emails from people within your organization, such as a player wanting more playing time, to licensed team newspapers, to actually having practice jerseys during training camp, to player morale, to being able to play any game regardless of whether your team is playing in it, to the ability to sort draft prospects by combine stats such as 40 time, to being able to import a draft class from the NCAA games, to exporting your roster as a custom team to use in other game modes, and much, much more. And of course, none of this is found in Madden 22, by the way, or any Madden from about the last decade. If you want to play a good franchise mode and actually have fun playing an NFL game, pick up Madden 07 for the PS2, Xbox, or GameCube. Franchise mode isn't all this game had to offer, however. After all, if I'm calling it the best Madden ever made, it has to have more than just that, right? Well, it does. Superstar mode is the best career mode in any Madden game. You can select any position in the NFL, any, even punter. You can make your character any height or weight you want, any tattoos or hairstyles you want, and more. Just like 06, you get to choose your parents, do some drills, sign an agent, get drafted, play your career, sign movie deals, and more. While the menu design is a bit outdated today, it doesn't take long to get used to it and the payoff is great. If you are looking for a hands-off, road to glory type career mode in Madden, this is it. The mode is different from 06, however, with a new emphasis on making the NFL Hall of Fame. Throughout your career, there is a meter showing your progress towards becoming or not becoming a Hall of Famer. You don't just make it with great stats, you make it by answering interviews, being a leader, being respected, and becoming the face of the NFL, or, ironically, the face of the franchise. You have the option to be a diva-type player too, and while that can hurt your chances of making the Hall of Fame, sometimes it's more fun, and with some insane stats, you'll probably make it in spite of your off-the-field antics. The best part of this mode is that you get to decide how you want your career to play out. You aren't forced to do super basic tutorials over and over, and your career isn't dictated by a bunch of bad cutscenes. It's actually fun, in your own control, and worth investing time into. Other game modes of note include situation mode, something I miss a lot, because sometimes I want to jump into a game with 2 minutes left and lead a comeback. Or maybe I want to try and replicate a situation I saw in real life. There are also Madden cards, which I go over in depth in my Madden 04 retrospective, but these give you cheats and fun gimmicks to use offline, and is a much more innocent rendition of the cash cow today known as Ultimate Team. Gameplay, of course, was awesome in Madden 07, just like it was in most PS2 Madden games. The new additions this year came with the awesome highlight stick, where as a runner you could use the right stick to truck, juke, spin, and more. Using a player like Brandon Jacobs and bulldozing through defenders was awesome and made power backs useful. Shiftier backs couldn't really truck through people, but instead could duck under tackles or juke around defenders. The kick meter was changed for Madden 06, where instead of it being a timed button press, you flick the stick down and then up. It resembled actually kicking the football, and while I think it's very easy, that might be more realistic. Because of this, kickers actually kick to their ratings, rather than you missing an extra point in a modern Madden with a great kicker because of some input lag. A really cool feature this game added that I wish would return was the lead blocking controls. Before the snap, you could select any offensive lineman or fullback or tight end and control that player at the start of the play. If you don't want to rely on the CPU to make that crucial block, you can do it yourself. This was one of the best Madden features ever, yet it seems to fly under the radar today. I never see anyone talking about it. You could even choose how to block, from regular old safe blocks to aggressive, sometimes even dirty cut blocks. You can quickly switch back to the running back and control him for the rest of the play. I personally love it. While overall the gameplay isn't as realistic as something like NFL 2K5, and definitely not even close to All Pro Football 2K8, it's at least fun and fair, something I can't say about modern Madden titles. Player movement is definitely closer to the arcade side, but that's how Madden has always been. Yes, the game can be cheesed, but with the ability to create your own play, that's actually pretty fun. You can play the game seriously and sim-like if you want to as well. Overall, you won't find yourself breaking your controller or jumping off of a balcony like you would playing Madden 22. It just works, and it makes sense. I actually have an entire series on my channel where I created a bad team called the Sarasota Seamen and played through a season, so if you're interested in seeing more Madden 07 gameplay, I'd recommend checking that out. Madden 07 was an amazing game on the original Xbox, PlayStation 2, and GameCube. It had the best franchise mode of any Madden, or even any American football game, ever made. It had the best career mode in any Madden game. It had the, at least in my opinion because this can get subjective, most fun gameplay in any Madden game, and really has no flaws that I can think of. It even has a fantastic soundtrack. Is the game old? Sure. The graphics might not look as shiny as newer Maddens, but you'll get used to it fast, and if that really bothers you, you can always emulate the game on PC using Dolphin or PCSX2 and render the game in 4K. We will probably never see another Madden game come close to Madden 07. EA has shown time and time again that they just don't get it, or they simply don't care. When they have the only NFL game, and no one else is allowed to make another one, they can get away with whatever they want. If you think I'm being too harsh, you must have either never played the classic Maddens like 07, or you just like to live life with rose-tinted glasses on. Which is fine, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And in my opinion, Madden 07 is easily the greatest Madden of all time. I hope you guys enjoyed the recent explosion of Madden videos. That's all I've uploaded for the last 2 months due to the new game releasing and Madden being a popular topic for my channel. However, this is the last Madden video for a while. I've got some awesome retrospectives planned, and while many are about sports games, I've got some really exciting non-sports game retrospectives planned. If that sounds interesting to you, I'd recommend turning on notifications by hitting this bell. I know I hate when YouTubers ask me to do this too, but whenever I've made videos on new topics in the past, YouTube has been really bad about showing them to my audience. They probably won't be on your homepage, so by hitting the bell, you will not miss the new content. Also, feel free to join my official Discord server by clicking the link in the description. Thanks for watching.